If you really look closely at the world around us right now, it's intense. We're living in a society completely obsessed with status, with this endless treadmill of achievement, and just a relentless viral digital chatter. We literally push ourselves to the absolute brink. And what do? We mask all that chronic anxiety, all that deep exhaustion, right behind polite, perfectly curated smiles. We've basically become world experts in not feeling sorry for ourselves. Until, eventually, the unspoken pressures of modern life finally cause the whole system to just shatter.
And that brings us to a frankly terrifying but absolutely vital question. It's brilliantly framed in Elaine de Botton's A Therapeutic Journey. Why does the pursuit of a so-called respectable life so often end in total collapse? Just think about this tragic modern paradox for a second. You do everything right. You chase the promotions, you maintain the image, you follow all the rules. Yet for so many of us, it just leads to this suffocating, chronic despair. So in today's Explainer, we're going to deconstruct exactly why this happens. But more importantly, we're going to lay out a practical blueprint for how we can pull ourselves out of the ruins.
So let's dive right into Act 1, the societal illusion and the necessary collapse.
The absolute most crucial thing to understand right off the bat is that your chronic anxiety, it's not a personal failure. Not at all. It's actually a completely natural result of trying to survive within a totally broken value system. Society tells us that having a mental breakdown is this source of intense shame, right? Like it's some huge embarrassment. But de Botton offers this really paradigm-shifting revelation. A breakdown is actually a beautiful, albeit painful, white flag. It's literally the illness containing the cure. When your mind can just no longer tolerate the impossible, hurtful conditions it's been forced into, it shuts down to heal itself. It isn't a death sentence. It's a desperately needed opportunity to restart our lives on a much more generous and realistic footing.
See, we are fighting this fierce internal battle every single day. On one side, we've got what we can call the conformist executive self. This is that part of you just barking harried commands all day long. Work harder, impress them, don't look weak. But on the exact opposite side, you have your whispering heart. De Botton points out that this sincere, almost mystical part of our mind, it already knows the truth. It already knows who we should actually be friends with, what environments are totally toxic for us, and what our true purpose really is. The problem is it's just constantly getting crushed by that loud, executive voice of conformity. To understand why that executive voice gets so impossibly loud and damaging, we actually have to understand what a healthy mind does in the first place. The mind is basically an editing organ. When it's healthy, it acts as this miraculous filter that sifts through thousands of stray, dramatic thoughts and keeps those punitive, hypercritical judgments at bay. It allows you to talk to yourself like you talk to a good friend. But when we fall ill, that filter just fails. We lose control over our better thoughts, and that's when what he calls the black sun of background anxiety rises. It's this vast, eerie sense of doom that tracks us everywhere, constantly whispering that we're awful and that the worst is absolutely imminent.
Which brings us to our solutions in Act 2, building your internal hut.
To really heal from this, we've got to strip away the toxic glamour of modern success. Take a look at this 1814 painting by Georg Friedrich Kirsting. It perfectly captures the absolute necessity of quiet rooms to shut out the enervating, viral madness and just the constant chatter of the modern world. Now, you don't necessarily need to physically pack up and move to a cabin in the woods, though that sounds pretty nice, right? What you actually need is an internal hut. You need to carve out a space in your own mind imbued with calm, a place you can retreat to challenge those beliefs that you're awful, where you just flat out refuse to let the world's collective frenzy dictate your peace.
And to figure out how to furnish that internal hut, we can actually look back to the ancient Japanese philosopher Chomei. His philosophy offers this brilliant roadmap right out of the modern status trap. First up, he reminds us that beauty is everywhere. And here's the kicker. It doesn't require immense wealth, it just requires the sensitivity to actually look. Second, time is infinitely more important than money. We spend our entire lives obsessively accounting for our finances, while our most precious, finite resource invisibly slips away from us. And third, everything is transient. This is a half-terrifying but also half-consoling reminder that all our current troubles, all these heavy societal pressures, they're fleeting. To find true peace of mind, we absolutely have to discard this modern obsession with money and status.
But honestly, protecting this peace requires a really awkward, highly critical art laying down boundaries. So the crucial takeaway here is following these 4 steps to protect your internal hut from the hostile demands of the outside world. Step 1, you have to identify what you objectively need to feel respected and happy. Step 2, convey those needs to others with warmth but with absolute strength. Step 3, discard the so-called safe path. Spoiler alert, authority figures don't have a magical master plan for your ultimate happiness. They just want you to play their game. And step 4, use your boredom as a vital tool. Your boredom isn't a flaw, it's actually your mind desperately trying to tell you what is slowly killing your spirit.
Now, obviously, communicating these boundaries and hard truths can cause some friction. People don't always like it. To help with this, de Botton shares this brilliant linguistic tool used by psychotherapists, the sheer power of the phrase, "I wonder if." Think about it. Instead of a brute statement that instantly triggers defensiveness, like, stop being so demanding, you pivot to this gentle, speculative rumination. I wonder if you're putting a bit too much emphasis on this deadline. See the difference? It's an incredibly effective way to gently guide ourselves and others toward hard truths without aggressive confrontation.
All right, let's bring it all together in Act 3, mastering your late style and deep time. So when Pablo Picasso painted the pigeons at 76 years old, it brilliantly illustrated this concept of a late style. You see, later in life, people tend to finally, blissfully, shake off the dead hand of social fear. They just stop caring what polite society expects, and they boldly embrace what actually brings them intrinsic joy. But de Botton argues we do not have to be towering figures of art to do this, and we definitely shouldn't wait until we're old. We need to adopt our late style early in life, literally right now. We need to yawn politely but defiantly at what is killing us, and just start living authentically today.
And for sure, that late style absolutely must apply to how we define authentic work. If your breakdown has finally slain the dragon of prestige, congratulations, you are now free. Seek out your childhood clues, like what did you love doing before you even knew what money or status was? Discard all those prejudices about what a respectable job is supposed to look like. Focus entirely on intrinsic satisfaction. We so often drive ourselves completely mad trying to have this massive impact on millions of people. Instead, flip the script. Focus on making small, notable differences in just a few lives. Keep yourself steady against enormous odds, make an honest contribution to a few fellow humans, and honestly, let that be enough.
We also need to fundamentally change our relationship with time itself. We are so uniquely obsessed with adding more years to our lives. But let's be real, even if we lived to be 1,000, it would still feel like it rushed by if we aren't paying attention. The real secret here is densifying time. We make our fleeting lives feel vast by bringing a childlike, open-hearted appreciation back into our days. We have to start actually noticing all that we have, up until now only sort of blindly seen. Pause for a second. Really look at people's faces. Study the sky. Wonder at the colors of a river. Just be present.
Now, if that feels impossible when the black sun of anxiety creeps back in, we can dramatically shift our perspective by comparing our despair against cosmic and geological time. Just put it into perspective for a second. The width of the Milky Way, 100,000 light years. The age of Mount Fuji as an active stratovolcano, 10,000 years. My last moment of absolute despair, like 5 days ago. When you align your temporary feelings of purposelessness with the sheer unimaginable vastness of 40 billion planetary systems in our galaxy alone, suddenly your anxiety-inducing meeting or that recent personal failure shrinks right down to a highly manageable, rightful size. Take a second and let this image of ancient ruins in Trieste, Italy, just wash over you. Standing before something that's incredibly old offers to release us from the intimidating aspects of our own times. Seriously, everything agitating us today, our urgent debates, our celebrities, our personal errors, our most painful embarrassments, all of it will eventually lose its prestige and be forgotten entirely. It's almost a relief, isn't it? It frees us to finally surrender our painful, exhausting sense of self-importance. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly powerful realization from the text. In the end, all we will care about will be kindness. When the striving stops and all those societal illusions fade away, that is what remains. So, I'll leave you with this provocative thought. If kindness is the only thing that will truly matter in the end, what is stopping you from giving it to yourself right now? Thank you for joining me for this explainer. If this helped you find even a little bit of clarity and serenity today, please subscribe and leave a comment below letting us know how you're building your own inner